The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge and wisdom. In Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7. You know, the thing in life makes all the difference is the Lord, is God. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. You can have all the wisdom and the knowledge in the world, but you're still making foolish decisions, so not sustainable and not workable in the long term, because you need, the key word is God in the process, in it. Is God the center of your decision-making process or not? You see, the Bible said the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This is very big, because what is the fear of the Lord? In other words, if you don't fear God, you don't have wisdom. you don't have knowledge even. Knowledge leads to wisdom, right? And if you don't have that proper wisdom, fear of the Lord, there's no knowledge, there's no wisdom. Because why is that so? So let me just explain some of Don Carson's commentary here. The book, the basic presupposition as well as the prerequisite for acquiring wisdom is the fear of the Lord. Without the fear of the Lord, you cannot acquire wisdom. In other words, you can't get what is the knowledge that you need to really live the kind of life that you want to live. The thing people most wanted is how to do life in this world. It is a disposition cultivated in relationship with God. The fear of the Lord is a disposition. You know what that is? Disposition. It's like your sunny disposition. You're always joyful disposition. You got to come to a point that your fear of God is your natural disposition, because you walk in the relationship with God. You know what? You have relationship with the person so much so that you have a disposition from friendship with the person, or your wife or your husband or the closest person. All right, so it is, this is called an intimate relationship with God that gives you the fear of the God. The more you know God, the more you're going to fear God. So fear of God is not necessarily in a negative tone. There is some negative tone. It's more than just the awe of God. I used to think it's the fear of the Lord is the awe of the Lord, but it's more than that. Let's move on a little bit. What is the fear of the Lord entails the humility to accept the books or the Bible's teaching out of conviction that God upholds it. Because God upholds the Bible, therefore you accept the Bible's teaching, not because the Bible sounds good or not because of traditions, but because God is in the Bible. God upholds it. Now listen to this. You accept the Bible's teaching out of conviction that God upholds it, rewarding the faithful with life and punishing the unfaithful with death. Now that's the fear of God. Fear of God, it goes two ways, positive and negative. The positive side of it is, that, it's a conviction that God will rewards the faithful with life. You see, it's not what you call religious, because you want to fear God because you want to be blessed. That's a totally different conversation. Don't get it mixed up. I think that the fear of the Lord is actually the realization that and the conviction that God rewards those who are faithful to Him. Nothing wrong. We should look forward to the reward of the Lord by being faithful to God. And then the negative part of it is punishing the unfaithful with death. Now, if you are unfaithful to the Lord in the long term, He will punish you with death. And not just the physical death on earth, but it's the eternal death. There'll be spiritual, physical, and every sense of the word. People think that when you die, if you're a believer, you go up to heaven, there's spiritual life. No, you have spiritual and physical. Did Jesus resurrect with a spirit only? No, He resurrected with a physical body. So don't ever say that we go to heaven by our spirit. No, we go to heaven with our physical body. That physical body, like Paul's epistle said, it will be a celestial body. But the twinkling of the eye, our bodies will be transformed to a celestial body. God will give us a new body to enter into heaven for eternity. So it is also an attitude that shapes one's worldviews and serves as a seedbed in which wisdom might be cultivated. In other words, if you don't have the fear of God, you cannot cultivate wisdom in your life. because there's no no fertility, no fertile ground for it to grow. Because your attitude, your attitude in life, will blow everything aside. Even God, even you read the best books in life, it won't do a dime of good benefit to you if you don't have the right attitude to receive it. That's why fear of the Lord is the best way. It gives you the ability to grow all the good things. All right? It's a perspective about life. It's so important that fear of the Lord causes us to grow in God and enjoy everything. If you fear God, you'll be faithful to God. He will reward you. If you don't fear God, if you are not faithful to God, in the long term, God will punish you with death. That's a commentary, and I agree with that. There will be punishment. Don't think God is just some people treat God like a sugar daddy, just keep blessing you, whatever you want, as long as you do the things He wants. No, not that. It's a disposition. It's a natural, organically coming out of your life as you walk with God, as you build your relationship with God genuinely, authentically. This thing's going to come forward. You become to form the bad seed. Without the fear of God, it's impossible to really enjoy the blessings of God. Because once you have that fear of the Lord, it opens up your paradigm of respect and honor, awe of God, and enjoying God. Know that He will reward you with life, but He will surely punish you with death as well if you go the other way around. So I just want to put in a spin on top of that, because you're really approaching it with relationship with God, not mechanically. You want to approach this whole thing as a relationally with God, because of relationship with Him, that He will give you that fear, He will help you to grow the wisdom of it. He will reveal more of Himself to you, the knowledge of who He is. If you don't know God, you never know who you are yourself. All right, so this is a fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and beginning of knowledge. And fools despise wisdom and knowledge. Proverbs 1:7. Amen.